He's fat, he's hairy, he's wicked.
And he's scary.
I think I love Retrogames.
This week on the Retrogames show, we investigate an East London bunker full of lost Russian arcade machines. And the quest to find Jace's robot replacement begins.
I think I love Retrogames.
Hello, yes, it is me, it is Jace at Retrogames. Hello, everybody, how are you this week? It is another week. Check my cameras, check my cameras. Yes, I think the cameras are on. How are you enjoying life? You got any energy left? I think I've sapped all your energy. I've got all your energy. Don't know what to do with it. Don't know what to do with it. I might put it in a box, see if I can sell it to someone, because that's what I do. I like to sell stuff. How's your week been? How's your week been? Enjoying the sunshine this week in the UK? We've had quite a nice sunny week, but a lot of wind. Yeah, quite a lot of wind, which is refreshing. I don't know. I need to get my hair cut because it doesn't cope well in the wind. Maybe next week I will have shorter hair. You can do a comparison. The fun you are going to have comparing my hair between this week and next week. Oh, I am jealous. Now that is a video game in its own right. Jace's hair. I can imagine. Let's make a game. Jace's hair. Just check it out. Like I said, I'm fat, I'm hairy, I'm evil. And I'm scary. I don't know. I'm not evil. Not evil. Not like Evil Knievel. What? Why yourself? What are you tuning into this for? You're an idiot. You can't blame me. I'm just jazz hands. You know, you guys, you're actually tuning in. You're choosing to watch this on the premise I'm going to talk about games in a minute. It might happen. It might. No. Stop it, Jace, calm down. Welcome to the Retro Games Show, another week. It's Friday, oh yeah, Friday. I love Fridays, don't you? No, I don't, because I spend my whole day editing this video. So Fridays are rubbish, but there is a nice feeling once it's up on the tubes and I don't have to think about it ever again. I just can blissfully walk away until it gets to about Tuesday next week and I'll be thinking, oh, got to do the show. Enough rabbiting, come on. Where's the sheet? Let's get the sheet. Yeah, we got the sheet. And I put a little bit of a call out for you guys last week saying there wasn't much meat on the bones, not much to get our teeth stuck into, and you've reacted. You have reacted. Let's. You ready? I know what side it is. It's this side. I always knew. Here's the runners and riders. Bing! Yes! 26! You know what that means? Yeah, record breakers. Yes, cool, Norris McWhirter. It is 26. 26 is a record. Can you believe it? 26 of you commenting. I think the previous record was 25, wasn't it? 25, I think so. But 26 is a new record. Thank you to everyone who joined in and gave us a little comment, something to get my teeth into, something to make the show last even longer. I wanted to hurry this show up, make it more concise, but no, I requested lots of info, and now you've honoured me with such a great response. It's going to extend the show, I just know it, which means more editing, later nights. Okay, let's go. Number one. Should we talk about number one? Number one's a bit of a strange one because number one, Rue Moore, he's actually my brother. He's actually my brother. Started watching the show. He's a bit late to the party. I have been doing this for about a year, a year and a quarter, but he's finally got on board, and he's watching the show, and it's great to have you on board, mate, because when we were growing up we played lots of this 8-bit stuff together, and you know, gaming was our shared passion. And he just said he remembers, because we talked last week about one of the classic Spectrum 2-player games, Spy versus Spy, Spy versus Spy, and he said he remembers when I was a kid saying, I remember you saying, let's play Spy versus Spy. And to me, as a kid, I had a rush of happiness would follow. Just imagine that. your big brother saying, come on, let me beat you at a game. And you feeling all excited and happy. Nice childhood memories. Thank you for that, brother. Thank you. Please feel free to comment. If Marvin makes you the winner, I'm gonna have uproar from everyone else, from all the other devoted followers who are here they were here from the beginning. They're not just tagging on now. If you come along and win the prize, oh, nasty. Number 2, Jabobbly Rob. Jabobbly Rob's back. I've had a lot of nice, really warm, lovely, positive responses, because I get a bit negative about the lack of traffic on the videos, because we just don't seem to, we've done all that last week about the FIFAs. You can't get enough of the FIFAs. We've done it. It was basically me just getting it off my chest that why do so many people get so much traffic and we don't get any traffic on the YouTubes. But anyway, the amount of warmth, I love it. I bathed in it. I bathed in the warmth of all these lovely warm comments and all these lovely adulation. Bit of adulation. We all need a bit, don't we? Not self-adulation, that's something else. Appreciate the effort you put into the show. And then you talk about things that haven't been talked to death on other channels. And that's right, because I am privileged. We have so much stuff coming through. There's always something to talk about. There's always something interesting. That is the joy of working at Retrogames. But thank you, Jabobbly Rob. Really appreciate that. Number 3, Beesball. He's in the USA. He says, your obnoxious YouTube alter ego needs a name. This is a callback from last week. Double header, it's got 2 games on it. There's not just one game, there's 2 games on it. I haven't played it. Yeah, okay, that guy. We've thought about it in the office this week, and we've decided, I said every name you seem to come up with, I was thinking, there's already someone who watches the show called that, and if we change it, we're going for Gav. I might do a little vote, but what do you think? Do you think we should call him Gav? I said as soon as I give him a name, he's going to have to come back. We'll have to have another shelf tour. I don't know, but Gav, he looks like a Gav, doesn't he? All right, Gav. Yeah. Anyway, fine. Yeah, that's what we're thinking. But if you've got a better answer, Beesball, you let me know. You let me know what you think he seemed like. Lots of names. I can't say the names in case some of you guys are called that, because a lot of you go by your tags, and I don't even know your real names. Anyway, number 4, Wondrous Jaguar. She said she has a Casio VL tone in the loft. Yes, yes. Go up into the loft. Give it a little tinkle. Give it a little tinkle. Press that orange Mr. Music button and dance around the loft. Don't fall through the rafters though. It might be a boarded loft. It might be. Actually, Wondrous Jaguar, we need to know more about your loft. How safe is it? Is it dry? Is it a great place to store your retro gaming collection? I don't like lofts. They do seem to accumulate a heck of a lot of dust, a heck of a lot of cobwebs, but also a lot of change in temperature. I think loft storage is responsible for a lot of disc rot and mould, with the change in temperatures and the dampness just changing, because lofts are well ventilated. I have in my lifetime had a new roof on my house. I am aware there's a lot of ventilation required in roofs. Now that was a tangent. Number 5, Steve Holloway. He said, we were talking about the Atari Lynx and about how it chewed up the batteries, and he said you had to be rich. You had to be rich to have an Atari Lynx without the power adapter. Rich or foolish? I mean, as a kid saving up for something, you didn't really realise that the batteries was going to become such an issue. He keeps his Atari Lynx for Pac-Land. He says it's the best version of Pac-Land on a home system. Let's check it out. Yes, it is good. He says though that there is a problem. The controller doesn't really suit it well. He prefers like a proper joystick than the little D-pad on the Lynx. But anyway, yeah, good. I mean, there were great games for the Lynx. My favourite Lynx game, APB.
Don't it break? Do a thing on it, sir. Oh.
Ramparts. Oh, Ramparts. Now Rampart is a really clever mix of strategy and puzzle. As you can see, I'm putting a wall around my castle. This is to build my castle, and you get Tetris style shapes. It borrows heavily from Tetris, and I have to surround my castle and my cannons to be able to use them in the next round. As you can see, it's very tricky. I just need a single block. I'm not going to get it. Moving on. So if you've got your complete castle, according to how big the area you've managed to create, the more guns you can put in place, and then you get to the battle. And this is the battle where you try and shoot the ships with a little sight from your cannons. It's kind of like 3 phases of the game. Not doing very well. If they blow up the castle, you are out. Not particularly well protected here. But what an amazing strategy game. Oh, that's worth having a Lynx for. Lynx is a great console. It's better than the Game Gear. Shush, don't say that. No, but it is. It's better than the Game. No, it's not. It's not. We can't say that. We might have a Game Gear coming up on the show. Stop it. Anyway, number 6, we've got someone new. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, new. I think he's the only new one, apart from my brother. The only new one today. And he is Mark Goes Blind Gaming. He has his own channel. I thought I'd check it out. It's a strange channel because blind gaming to me, when I was looking at it, I thought, oh, he is putting on a game and playing it with his eyes closed and seeing how far he gets without looking. But no, he's not doing that. He's just picking games and playing them, giving people challenges. How far can you get with 1 life, and sending it. It was interesting. It was funny. He's a funny guy. I liked him. Anyway, welcome to the show. Thank you, Mark. Nice to have you on board. And we owe another drink to Generation Pixel because he's the guy who brought him in. He brought him into the club. Thanks, Gen Pix. Frankie Boyle of Retrogaming. Number 7, Justin Wormleyton. Please don't stop making the show. I haven't stopped. Don't worry yet. I might give you some warning when I'm going to stop. When I'm going to have a break, I will give you some warning. I'm not giving you a break yet. I'm carrying on. He says, please don't stop. He'll get withdrawal symptoms. This is like, you could prescribe this show on the NHS. It's like the methadone of retro gaming shows. What? Anyway, he says, what else did he say? Thanks for the tingles. We don't talk about him. That's a Christmas only thing. We don't talk about Mr. Tingle. You know that. 8, Richard Cooper. He's in Australia. He said he's also not a fan of Paper Mario. Because I mentioned that last week, talking about the GameCube game. Paper Mario. Yes, Paper Mario. People, people put it in the same window as Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. Oh yeah, it's like, it's a proper Mario RPG, like the Mario. They're very slow and laborious. Can I say a Nintendo first party game is boring? Okay, it's time to prove the point. This is Paper Mario in action. Yes, he got some kisses there from Goon Bella. It's an incredibly incredibly what? It's a readathon, isn't it? It's a readathon. It's like watching a really badly made cartoon. And I know, you guys are getting upset, you Paper Mario fans. You say, no, but listen, read it. I mean, yeah, okay, I'd never come to a place like this if I realised it was full of freaks. What? You're looking for the legendary treasure too? I mean, we've moved on. Games shouldn't be like this anymore. I mean, at least in a text adventure on the Spectrum, you could just type stuff in yourself. You didn't just have to read it. I mean, anyway, I'm letting this carry on. I'm making my point. Who's this guy? I mean, this old guy comes on and gives us another load of spiel. Even the people in the background, look, they're talking to each other with little speech bubbles. This is a first-party Nintendo game. It shouldn't be like this. I mean, maybe it's for children. It's funny, the amount of you who have said, Paper Mario, you don't diss the Paper Mario, that is one of the greatest games on the GameCube. I just don't get it. I mean, yeah, oh great, they do a little bit of a speech, and someone shows a little animation of a movement. I mean, I need to stop this. It's making my show incredibly boring, and I don't like that. I don't care if you're feeling better, mate. I don't care. Oh. I'm going to have to stop it. This carries... I mean, I'm going to stop this, but this carries on for hours just like this. I know, it's real. I find Paper Mario boring. If you don't agree with me, that's up to you. Free country at the moment. Carrying on, it is number 9, Jug McKenzie. Jug McKenzie's not in a blues band. He said, have I seen Micro Men? And yes, I have seen Micro Men. I thought it was brilliant. It was the story of Sinclair, Sir Clive Sinclair, when he started. And it's got that guy off Pointless playing Sir Clive Sinclair. And you think, well, that's not going to work. But it does work. It's actually good.
This is my vision. A computing device in every home in Britain.
How have the technological advances of the last 40 years made our lives what they are today? Syntax Era takes an affectionately comic look at the race to dominate the home computer market in the 80s.
I was standing there with my foot in the door. What was I supposed to say? Don't come, because the computer I'm trying to sell you doesn't actually exist.
Price is the key. Whatever happens, I want a computer that we can sell for the magic sum of £99. At that price, the man on the Clapham Omnibus will want one, even if he has absolutely no idea what to do with it.
It's actually good. Xander makes a good attempt at playing Sir Clive Sinclair. I think it's well worth a watch. If you're interested in the history of Acorn and Sinclair, then it was really good. 10, Chaneeth. He likes the new intro! Yes! He likes the new intro. I like more concise. I've said this already. He says, people do room tour videos for insurance purposes. So it's all documented, all the stuff in their collection, so that if anyone ever burns their house down, they've got it ready for the claim, which is it's a nice thought. He enjoyed the Easter show. He's one of the few people who watched the big Easter show. And he said, because obviously we did our whole adult bit, our adult feature of naughty games in the Easter show, and he said it's actually perfectly honourable to put that saucy bit in the Easter show, because Easter is derived from an ancient pagan festival, Eostra, I think so, that involves sex and debauchery. Brilliant, yeah, see? On point. I am on point. It's like I knew all the time. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Chaneeth. 11, Not More Games with Nick Berry. He hates, this is his pet hate. This pet hate. He hates the fact that female YouTubers attract so much more traffic. He suggests maybe I have some drastic, some very drastic plastic surgery. Let's just check out what I might look like as a lady. Oh, hello. How are you? I bet you would love to play some Spectrum games with me, wouldn't you? Yeah, it's not so good. It's not so good, is it? I mean, I find me attractive, but he's right, isn't he? I mean, he knows this because he watches them. He watches all the shows with the ladies in. I obviously, since we had a little talk about Retro Recipe, Rival Show, I've been keeping up. There seems to be more ladies on that. Suddenly, I was another girl on there. I was another girl.
Most of my games that I played were internet games, like, you know, Polly Pocket games and Barbie games online and things like that. But one video game that I did play quite a bit was from a very unconventional source. I have this High School Musical MP3 player that I got.
I should be learning from that, but no, you guys are going to be stuck with me. I look like this. Bad luck. Get your entertainment like that elsewhere. 12, 8-bit boy. I am, this is what he calls me, the saviour of Saturday mornings. Yeah, I saved Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings they're gonna be wiped out if it wasn't for me and this show. Who'd have thought it? 13, Tapio, last week's winner. He won the big prize. He said, we're talking about Rare. We were talking about Rare, and I said, don't you wish that Rare had stayed in the Nintendo fold? They'd carried on pushing out stuff that Nintendo wanted them to make. Because Nintendo, they told, like when Donkey Kong Country came out, Banjo-Kazooie, it was a very strict remit from Nintendo, we want a game that's comparable to Mario 64, or we want a game that's like Zelda. And we had, you know, we had Star Trek. We had Star Trek. Yeah, Rare invented Star Trek. Didn't you know? No. You know. And he says they made some good stuff on Xbox 360 because they got bought out by Microsoft. They do Sea of Thieves now. That's their big game. But yeah, Xbox Viva Pinata, which I don't rate at all. He says, and Cameo, which I did finish. I liked it. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, wasn't there, on the Xbox? That was disappointing. Though there were some lovely Attic Attack references, Easter eggs, little things, little nuggets for us to get our teeth in as retro gamers. But he says, obviously, Rare's output, nothing compared to the NES, SNES, and N64. But if you think about the NES, SNES, N64, and Mega Drive, they did Mega Drive stuff too, and Master System. I think they did a couple of bits of Master System. It wasn't all that great, was it? I'm thinking about Snake, Rattle, and Roll. I mean, it's okay. It's like isometric-y kind of fun. But I was also thinking about Battletoads. I mean, okay, I hype up the Battletoads games when they come into stock because they're rare and desirable. As they're a kind of rip-off of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But were they brilliant games? Were the games as good? Not really. And let's talk about Killer Instinct. I never really liked Killer Instinct. Yeah, I mean, Rare, yeah, okay, but there is some brilliant, obviously, N64 content was brilliant. Yeah, but maybe RC Pro Am. RC Pro Am, yeah, now that is a good game. That was on several formats too. On the Game Boy, I remember it being good on the Game Boy. And I like isometric racing games. That was fun. So yeah, okay. But I'm just saying, as much as we all hail the mighty Rare, all hail the mighty Rare, ultimate play the game, key of ACG, we worship thee. While we all feel a bit like that, they did also churn out a bit of fodder. Their early console content, maybe not quite as top draw as we'd like to think. Anyway, 14 ZX Tetley. He's not Tetley anymore, he's ZX Tetley. I think that's a reference to a home computer, but I can't be sure. He just commented on the Easter show. He just says, pure filth. That's really what I came on YouTube to do, to make pure filth. Yeah, I love it. Pure filth, nice. 15 boxed in Andrew, isn't it? It's Andrew, I remember. He raved about the show. He liked it. He liked my little skits last week. But he said he also seems to mention the Commodore Plus 4 in every single post he makes. Honestly, when I get something worth talking about on the Plus 4, it will be on the show. We'll have done some. Didn't I do an Olympics game for you? But didn't we show a Plus 4 version of Daley Thompson's or something? 16, Brian. Brian's back. He loves. He doesn't save that word. That's not an everyday word to Brian. He only uses love when he really feels it in the depths of his heart. And he says he loves the new intro music. Thank you, Brian. Someone appreciated it. It did take a little bit of effort, as did the saucy music in the Easter special. I'm not going back. I'm not talking about that. We've done that. But you know, there was a whole new soundtrack to that feature, which took quite a bit of an effort. He's got a great story. Brian's got a good story this week. He says, my dad bought my Spectrum second hand from one of his old work colleagues. Do you remember that? When your dad would bring something home from work that he bought of someone he met, or someone that he worked with, or someone that a customer, and he's bought something, he brought it back, and you're thinking, but what is it? Well, maybe you knew what it was, but that is nice, isn't it? Getting a Spectrum, second-hand Spectrums back in the early 80s, they were still holding their value. They're probably more expensive now, but anyway, he said one of the games that was with the Spectrum, which he remembers, was Espionage Island, originally by Arctic and also by Sinclair. Sinclair licensed it and released it under their Sinclair brand. Anyway, classic text adventure, part of a series. What have we got? Inca Curse is number 3. Espionage Island. Planet of Death is the first one. Oh, this is going to bug me. I'm just going to put it up because I know there is a 4th one. That's the 4th one. Yeah. Anyway, he remembers, and this is funny because this really strikes a chord with me because I remember. To load the game, you had to type load, quote, quote, code. Okay, now there's quite a few games that made you do that, particularly CRL games. They want you to type load, quote, quote, code. It just meant that they didn't bother putting a header intro to the loader. So they wanted to go straight into downloading the machine code part of the game. And it's unusual because 90% of games would just load, quote, quote, pressing enter. But this was a load, quote, quote, code game. And he couldn't find out how to use code. And I think I can remember people struggling trying to get the word code, because I think you have to hold the symbol shift and the caps lock and then press the 4, one of the buttons, and you get the word code come up. But you can't type code, you have to load code, and then you have to do this sneaky finger twist to get the word code after the quote quote and then press enter, and then it will load. But if you did load quote quote, it will sound like it's loading, it looks like it's loading, but when it gets to the code, it won't load the main body of the program. But anyway, he says him and his parents were all like fiddling around his rubber key Spectrum, trying to work out how the heck to load quote quote code. He goes on about the game as well, but that's more interesting than talking about the game. It's quite, it's tough. Those Spectrum adventures, they're pretty tough. It was tough. He got stuck. His parents helped him finish it. I've given the story now. That's pretty much the crux of it, Brian, isn't it? I think that is the crux. We've got to the crux, the meat and the potatoes. But anyway, I like that story. Thank you. 17, Sheza. Sheza is giving us another story, and this is about a game that he had called Odd Job Eddie. Check it out. Now, Odd Job Eddie, it was a game, it came with his Spectrum 128, it must have been some sort of deal, it came with the Spectrum 128K, and he played it for months. He managed to finish it. Yes, well done, finally. We're all giving you the congratulations you deserve. You completed Odd Job Eddie. Yeah! Way, well, excellent, thank you. We are proud of you. We are all, aren't we? We're all proud of you, Sheza. Anyway, his dad would keep him away from game shops. He thought Odd Job Eddie was about as good as it got. But then one of his mates run him off a couple of copies of Manic Street Pizzas, no, Manic Street Preachers, no, Manic Miner and Jet Set Willy. And then he realised, oh my God, they were like 100 times better than anything he'd played before. And he realised the Spectrum was actually a brilliant computer and not the lump of poo that he was kind of thinking it was edging towards from Odd Job Eddie, even though he finished it. And finally, he says his 10-year-old son, we talked about him, no, I think it's another 10-year-old son, says he already misses the old title music. Here it is.
I think I love retro games. I think I love retro games. I think I love retro games.
It's always going to be there on the old shows. I might do a little vote. If you really want the old theme to come back, we'll bring it back. But I quite like the new one. Gives me a chance to do some funny things. Anyway, moving on. We've got another meaty pile of retort from 18. That's our old mate Rusty Bucket. He's talking about Jeff Minter again. You know, we've dallianced with Jeff Minter. Is he really as good as we think he is? And he's this week he's got Ratman. I can show you a picture of Ratman, and he says the game is kind of basic, but interesting and fun. They've got that homemade feel, because it's like he's knocked up in his shed. It's like the graphics are the wrong way around on the inlay. You know, it's messy. It's messy, but that's what the early Llamasoft stuff is like. And he says, do we think if he sends it off to Jeff, he'll sign it and send it back? Why don't you send it, Russ, why don't you just send it to me? You send it to me, and I'll give it to Jeff, and I'll get him to sign it. And then I'll see if he thinks you deserve it back. Just send it to me. Just pop it in an envelope, just send it to me. Actually, all of you, if you've got any stuff you don't want, just pop it in an envelope or a box, just send it to me. I'll look after it for you. I'm very good at looking after your games collections. I'm brilliant at it. I really am. Anyway, he says he didn't like the sausage. Little clip. He didn't like the sausage messing up the contents of a future junk box. You know me so well, Russ. You know me so well. That computer might have been out of the junk box, out of a future junk box, and it might be back in the junk box. Smelling a bit rank. Anyway, a bit of fun, wasn't it? A bit of fun. We had some fun last week. We're not having fun this week. That was last week. This week, down to business. Finally, he says, what about all the new games? He never talked about the new games for Commodore 64. He talks about Sonic Empire Strikes Back and Joe Gunn. A couple of brand new releases for Commodore 64. Why don't I show them on the show? Well, if I get them, if someone sends them to me. This is Joe Gunn. I'm not sure this is that impressive, really. It kind of makes me think about why I love the old games. Yeah. You know, it's nice that you're making new games, but... yeah. Okay. If anyone wants to send me any new retro games, I'll happily talk about them and show them and go, look at this game. It's new. No problem, no problem. As long as I get to keep it. Finally, moving on. 19. It's our old mate James.
Konnichiwa, everybody.
Konnichiwa to you, James. He says, and this is a good one. He said, yeah, you talked about all those adult games. But what about Vegas Girls on the CDI? So here we are in swanky Vegas, ready for some titillation. You can choose from some nicely dressed girls, and then you can play a series of different casino games. This is craps, that's not swearing. You can play a bit of cards. Yeah, pontoon.
Blackjack.
Yeah, blackjack. Those are the girls. The roulette, terrible. This is the graphic for the spinning wheel. Hard to believe, isn't it? I couldn't get to any nudity on this. Just really bad graphics. As he describes it, seconds worth of pleasure for adolescent James. He got a couple of 2, 3, 4 seconds of pleasure. I mean, I didn't find it that exciting. I'm glad you did. So, brilliant. Thank you very much, James. 20 Retro Games Revived. So old mate Sean. All the regulars are in this week. Actually, no, Ed's not in. Ed, he hasn't commented for a while. He says he said some really lovely things about the show. I'm not going to go all over it. He was very flattering and very kind with his thoughts about this show. And I am so glad that this show is enjoyable to you, Sean. I think you've been a customer with us for a long time. It's lovely that you're, keeping with us in the spirit of it. I love it. He says, I've got to make the show for myself, and then the views don't matter. Yeah, the problem is, and I'm not dissing all you other guys making your own videos, but my job's pretty full on. My job, being, working for yourself, you have to work a lot, and you have to work long hours, and we send a lot of parcels. We are busy, and I think I don't have that much free time, and this does take up a lot of the week to do, which I guess, so maybe that doesn't help me when I'm thinking about nobody watching it, because it's taken a lot of work, time out of me doing my proper job, like I said last week, proper job, which is putting stuff on the site. So yeah, I guess maybe if you've got a boring job, or you're not doing a job that's involved with games, then it's actually brilliant because you get to talk about your hobby, after work and put something together and that. But I guess my whole life is these games. It's my whole life. Don't give me your life. Moving on, Jason Voke. School Days. That was his favourite Spectrum game. A lot of people's favourite Spectrum game. Very good. He's a crack shot with the catapult. Yeah, it's such a great game. I always remember you have to turn over the little shields at the top. You're trying to do with the catapult, spin all the shields, get them all to line up, and then you opened up a door. And, oh, such a great game. 22, Retro Bear. Retro Bear, he's back. He said, again, loads of brilliant advice. He is like father of the show, let's just say. I mean, he looks after us. He's always full of brilliant advice, and I wish I could take a leaf out of his book and be more relaxed. He's got such a relaxed vibe about him, and I'm a little bit too hyper. I'm like the naughty child, even though I'm very old, of retro gaming. Anyway, he said lovely things about the show, and he said his first game, yeah, the Retro Bear's, he's probably covered this on his own channel, but we all want to know what Retro Bear's first game was. It was Space Invaders! It was Space Invaders on the Atari VCS. Isn't that the worst version of Space Invaders ever made? There's lots of issues with it, but a massive system seller for the machine, even though the graphics are just too lumpy. And he also said he never listened to Gaming Playground rumours. He just started them. I don't know what ones. What ones did you... Are you responsible for all the gaming? Retro Bear, you need to tell us what you started. Tell us. 23, PJ Venom. He wishes Rare stayed independent. And I think that someone last week, yeah, we talked about that, but yes, if they'd stayed independent from, that would be exciting, wouldn't it? What would they be churning out? What would they be making? Mobile games? Would they? They might be. I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? What would have happened? I mean, we'll never know. Maybe there's an alternative history, parallel universe where Rare went independent. They cut their ties with Nintendo and just said, no, we're doing our own thing. I've always felt an impending sense of doom. As soon as Rare left Nintendo, I thought... I didn't know, the releases just dried up. Hardly anything came out for the Xboxes. Really. I mean, it's Sea of Thieves now, but that's an old game. What the heck are they doing? What are they doing? And Banjo, nuts and bolts. Let's not talk about that again. I don't know. I feel the death knell. I always felt that Rare was never ever the same company it was in the Nintendo era. And it's certainly not in the Spectrum era. So yeah, sad. But yeah, I would be interested to see what happened in an independent environment. Okay. He says... Sean last week, he said about sex not being taken seriously in video games, and he referenced this. Oh, I don't know, Geralt and Yennefer on the unicorn in The Witcher 3 was pretty serious. Now, being a retro gamer, I'm not really that familiar with Witcher 3. I did play it a little bit. I certainly didn't get that far in the game. And I'm interested, trying to handle romance and sex in video games. It's a tough ask. And the sad thing is, as seriously as they've tried to make this, there are a lot of memes about it and a lot of jokes. And it's all because of a unicorn. Here we go. So, they get a bit naked. It's not too graphic, but suddenly her clothes disappear. And she wants them to be on this, I think it's wooden unicorn. It is a strange scene. I mean, it's kind of tender. I mean, the graphics, they're a bit blocky. I mean, you couldn't really do this on an 8-bit machine. They look pretty grumpy, don't they? The faces are a bit jagged. Yeah, I mean, this is cool. It goes on a bit. So they're looking over at the unicorn, and he's thinking, what? Yeah, and the next thing you know, they're on this unicorn, and apparently this is mainly what the memes are about. A lot of fun being made about them riding on a unicorn while they're doing. Oh, it's a little bit rude. Just topless graphics. I think that's okay. A little bit rude. Sorry about that, Dads.
Come here.
I don't really need to show much more of this. But it is a sex scene in a game which is supposed to be romantic, a bit Games of Thrones-y. It's not too graphic. It's quite harmless, but even then, people have still decided to take the mickey out of it because they're on the back of a unicorn. Strange choice. Strange production choice. It's kind of turned into a parody, isn't it? Like the unicorn thing. It's turned into a bit of... It's not serious. It's not serious. It's all a bit of fun. 24 Retro Claire. Yeah, Mrs. Bear. She is on the show this week. And she says she saw something the other day on BBC Archives, on our Archives channel. And it was kids playing various games, including Manic Miner. And when they were reviewing Manic Miner, they said it was too loud. Too loud. Now, Claire's got a big smiley face there. But if you think about that intro, when you press play on Manic Miner and you're all listening to the sound of it loading, you listen to the all that, and then the game starts and it's like Rah! In your face, it's so loud. That intro on the fake piano thing, I do remember, like, oh my god, yes. I think that just frightened them. That's why I don't think the in-game music's loud. But yeah, as she said, I wonder what they think of it now. Yeah, I bet. 25, Kuyadarixa. Kuyadarixa. He told me I can say it however I like. Remember? He says he's got to get himself one of those sausage cleaning peripherals. What's it called? The Sillet Banger. Yes! Kuyadarixa! Yeah! He made the joke of the sheet. The joke of the sheet. That goes to you. Kuyadarixa! Yeah! Very good. Sillet Banger. I don't like the word sillet. It looks rude to me. It looks worse. 26. Peter, my old mate, Peter Redwood, yes. He remembers, do we remember this? He remembers playing a game on the Atari VCS. It was a haunted house game, but it was on a double-ended cartridge. Was it this? Yes, now this is by Zonox. It's a European compatible cartridge. And they make double-ended. I love double-ended cartridges. Yeah, it's a bit like when you, like the Sith Lord, when he's got a double-ended, lightsaber. We don't all have to like Star Wars, but it helps. Anyway, haunted house. Yes, I love those Zonox double-ender cartridges. A lot of fun. There's quite a few in America. There was quite a few double-ended cartridges. Basically, just get two games, stick them together, and stick it in the same box. Kind of cool, isn't it? It's kind of cool because you don't put two games in, but you're getting better value for money. So yeah. Anyway, you can buy it. It's in stock, Pete. It's in stock. Just buy it. Just buy it. Relive your memories. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of the show sheet. That is 26 of you. Time to reveal the prize.
Competition time.
And some interesting prizes this week. Two things again. I don't know where they came from. This we've got Mech Warrior 2. This is for the Mac. Can you believe it? We've got Mech Warrior 2, classic Mech Assault game for the Macintosh. Wow, I'm at the Macintosh. And this other game. Oh my God, Finders Keepers. This is for the Commodore 64. I don't know where these games came from. Finders Keepers for the Commodore 64. Finders Keepers. I find it. Anyway, yeah, so you can win a Commodore 64 tape and a Macintosh original Mac CD-ROM game for winning this week's competition. And all you have to do, if you're new to the show, all you have to do is comment and you get put in next week's competition. Just give us a comment, talk about gaming stories, give us something interesting about video gaming. I know I should probably be posing a question. I thought I might do that next week. I'll try and pose a question and then everyone can give their opinion and that'll give us something to focus on. It might be an idea, mightn't it? We're only episode 30 or whatever. Let's find something to focus on. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Let's get me old mate.
My name is Marvin. My name is Marvin. Remember my name. 'Cause my name is Marvin. My name is Marvin.
Yeah, numbers are his game. I've got to get this right up to 26. 26 this week. This is Marvin. If you're new to the show, this is Marvin. He is neutral. He's like the Switzerland of competition adjudicators. He is a completely random machine. Let's power him up, see if he's got any life. Yes, we've got a 0. Oh, we've got a buzz. You can't hear that, but he's proper buzzing now. He's getting a bit old. He's done quite a lot of draws now. Let's go. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, Marvin! Way! That's 15. Number 15. Who's number 15? He's boxed in! Andrew, the Commodore Plus 4 obsessed regular. Okay, this is a proper plum moment. I have read the wrong number out and given the prize to the wrong person. It's because of the reflection. I look at it in the camera reflection and it looked like a 15, but it's actually a 12. So we have a different winner. But please just email like you normally would, and you'll win. 8-bit boy, you have won. Sorry, boxed in. What can I say? I'm an absolute muppet. He is. All you have to do is send us an email to this email address and we'll send you some stuff. Well, we'll send you these 2 horrible games. Bad luck. This is this week's prize. You're stuck with it now. You know what comes after this bit of the show.
What's new? Retro games. Can you tell me what's new? Retro games, please. What's new? Retro games. Can you tell me what's new? Retro games, please.
Yeah! What's new at Retro Games this week? This is a part of the show where we talk about all the new things that have come to retrogames.co.uk this week. And it's been quite a good, interesting listing week. Lots of interesting things to talk about. I'm going to start with some hardware and something we've not had on the show yet, which is good. It's good, something different. I've got it in a horrible old box. But bear with me. Let me get this in position. Yes, what is that? What is that? It's only a Mattel Aquarius. Yes, a Mattel Aquarius. I've got the manual in there, but I'll get rid of this box. This is a 1982, isn't it 1982? It is a 1982 rival to the Spectrum and to the Commodore 64 and VIC-20, but it's made by Mattel, who made the Intellivision. It's a very cute, chunky little computer. Let's get it up on the screen. You can see it's got very, very little keyboard travel. It's got a cartridge slot on this end. This is like a cover for it. This is just the cover. The cartridges go into that slot there. You can see it's got an inbuilt power cable that is undetachable, which is a bit annoying. It's got a very odd printer socket there. You see it's got a very small, like an audio phono cable for a printer. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen the printer for the Aquarius. It's got TV out, RF out, and it's got a cassette cable in, and that is all you get really. And this one is in nice working condition. There's the power supply attached permanently. But what a dinky machine! And I know what you're thinking, but yeah, but how good is the Aquarius? Well, I've got some games to show you, and we'll go through some games and show you the capabilities. It's not a million miles more powerful than the Intellivision. That might surprise you. I mean, the Intellivision is a 1978, I think, that was developed, so it is based on some pretty old ropey technology, which might be a reason why it didn't do too well. Anyway, it's got some games here. This is Astro Smash, a game that did come out on the Intelli. And as you can see, it's got this lovely little keyboard overlay. Not a keyboard, that's a controller overlay. They love their overlays. What can you say? Mattel love making overlays for games. And they thought, oh, we've got a computer, we've got to make overlays. And they're good cartridges, aren't they? Got the name on the back, Astro Smash. Let's check it out. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple shooter. Let's get to another game. We'll carry on with the games. This one is Utopia. Now this is like it's like a strategy world-building game. It's a bit different, but also an Intellivision game. But again, I'll show you the cartridge there. It's got the writing on the back. It's different, isn't it? It's different. I mean, I love obscure stuff. This is the rare stuff. These are the machines that nobody really bought. You had to be pretty unlucky if your mum went out for a Commodore or a Spectrum and came back with a Mattel Aquarius. But that does make it super rare now, and it got very nice. You can read the words on that: fish, rebel, fort, house, hospital, get boat, factory, school, and crop. And that pretty much describes the game. Here it is. Now the next game is a classic. It's a classic. It is Burger Time. Burger Time. Now another game which was on the Intellivision. But this comes with lots of stuff. This comes with not only with 2 controller overlays like that. You see there. It says Pepper Cycle, Pepper Freeze. I think that's the lyrics to a new song by Miley Cyrus. That's how up to date I am with music. And it's got a keyboard overlay, so this actually goes over the computer, so that if you're playing with keyboard, you can just read where the keys are. From that, it's in 2 halves. Very nice, very nice. This even got the manual. This one is a very tatty manual, but anyway, let's check it out. So Burger Time there, yeah, so there is quite a bit of obscure cassette releases for the Aquarius, but for those you needed the optional bespoke Aquarius cassette player, and luckily enough I have one here. Yes, this is the Aquarius data recorder. It's a data recorder. Yeah, I know it's hard to get excited about a cassette player, but look at it. It is in the proper original box, data recorder box. Don't worry, I'm going to get it out. I'll get it out. There's a picture of the Aquarius on the back with it next to it. It's very cool. It's got a groovy design. It's quite stylish. I mean, it's retro, isn't it? It looks retro. It's kind of slanted face. We've got the manual there. We've got the manual. It's got its 2 Pollyannas, a couple of Pollyannas, and there we go. We'll just unlock that. It's like it's wearing sunglasses. It's got like a nice tint, a nice shaded tint on the window there, so you can't see it. It's in lovely condition. Yeah, beautiful. A cassette player. So that's what you'd use to load the cassette games, if you can find any. And finally, the final thing that I've got for the Aquarius is this. And this is the expansion, the mini expander. And it's strange because it gave you 2 cartridge ports. Now you're thinking, why do I want 2 cartridge ports? What's the point of that? That's because the limited memory inside the Aquarius meant that a lot of the games and the software required an expansion cartridge. We've got those in stock, like 16K memory cartridge. So the memory cartridge would go in there, and then the game in the one underneath. It's kind of, yes, fancy making a computer that had such little memory that you had to buy this expander so you could plug in a RAM cartridge just so that you could put in there for the programs, because they needed it. But the benefit of this, it also included joystick ports, because there was no joystick ports on the Aquarius. And here we have the joypads. Oh, that's the adapter again. You can see it's like a weapon. And then you've got the joypads. And if I go back to one of those games, I can show you as we've got everything here. If I go back to Astro Smash here, and just show you the key that just plugs in over there. And there you have it. That's like bespoke for Astro Smash. A little gap there to pull it back out. Beautiful. It works. Yes. I know what you're thinking. I want to see what that looks like plugged into the machine. Well, okay. Let's try it. it's strange because the only input is the cartridge slot. So you remove the shielding plate. I'm big nut there. Shielding plate, and then you have to slot this beast into the. There you go, and that is. Look at that. That is the computer with expansion. What an unwieldy beast. I mean, you've made your computer quite small and compact, but to play games with enough RAM, you had to have this plugged in. It suddenly makes a Kempston joystick interface look very compact and unique and well thought out, doesn't it? Oh, I've got to wrench these apart. Anyway, moving on, that was the Mattel Aquarius. Right, now let's go to one of our favourite formats, that is Nintendo. And this week we did have a big Nintendo set in. Yes, we had one of these, the Nintendo Action Set. Yes, the Action Set, which came with the light gun. Very important, and I know you guys like to see these, so I thought I'd get it out. It's quite a nice example. Let's get the table straight. I'm going to slide it out. This can't help myself, can I? Going to pull the Pollyanna out. Come on, Pollyanna. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got it is a lovely box. It's in great shape. No crazy damage on there, just light use wear. But yeah, very nice. Let's do the lid reveal. Nice and straight. Come on, Jace. 1, 2, 3. Yes, there it is. Very nice. So you've got the console. It's a very nice console. It's a good example. Lovely and clean. Look at that. That's how you want your NES to look. It's not had any replacement parts. This is original. This is not a DK Oldies special where they've taken pieces apart and made replacement lids and buttons and God knows what they're doing. This is a proper authentic, very close to 10 out of 10, I would say. NES. Let's just see if he still works. Do you still work? Hello, Jace. Yeah, it still works. Still works. All right, Jace. Oh, I think this one's from up north. I don't know why. Yeah, thanks for that, NES. And what have we got else in the box? Of course, we've got the Mario Brothers Duck Hunt cartridge. That's the light gun. You only play light gun games on a CRT TV. They use the reflective nature of the screen to function. So that is tricky if you want to play that. You need to have an original TV. But you've got the light gun there. You've got your 2 controllers. You've got your power supply, your TV cable, and we've got a whole load of manuals. So we've got the manual for Duck Hunt and for Mario. We've got the control deck manual. That's the actual console manual. We've got the warranty. There's a bit of scribble on it. We've got a couple of fold-outs. Let's have a little look. Oh, a bit fragile. Oh, it's a bit fragile. It's been folded up for probably 20 years at least. Yeah, I'm going to fold it back again. Fold it back again. It's a shame. Can I fold it right? Oh, shouldn't have started this. Yeah. With it. And this one, I think it's the same thing. Is it the same thing? We actually had 2 of them. And this one's better. They're just little post. Oh, that's exactly the same thing. It's only the same thing, but without loads of tears. So it's got 2. It's got a backup. That just shows those of Nintendo games. A little poster that came free with the NES. But yes, a lovely set. Not the only thing that we've got for the NES this week, though.
You Force for Nintendo. You Force. You Force. Nothing but you, and the game.
With the U-Force power field, nothing comes between you and the game. U-Force.
Now this strange device is called the U-Force. U-Force. It's a controller for the NES. It's very strange. Now, as you can see, it looks a bit like, well, it looks like something you'd throw away. It's just designed to look like a lump of rubbish. But if you open this up, I'll try and do this in front camera. What the heck is that? It looks like, was this computer battleships? No, it's not battleships. The U-Force, made by Broderbund, famous for making Choplifter. They made this controller, and it's a force field controller. So in this space, in this area between the two black panels, it can track your hand movements. Yes, well before the Wii or virtual reality, you could control things just moving your hands. It's got a few other controllers. There's turbo fire, game switches. You can define which action's going to do which. But what a crazy, I mean, it's up there with the Power Glove. A strange way to control. When Nintendo made the perfect controller, really, it seems a shame that so many companies banked on bringing something else to the party, and I don't think this was a brilliant choice. I didn't really want to control games in a force field. It doesn't really feel magical. But there's a device that comes with this, and this is called the Tyson Punch Bar. This very strange thing, and I don't know if we can get this. Yeah, so this fits in this little hole, and it's wobbly, but it meant that you can see when you press the button, this little tab, white tab, sticks in there, and the game recognises that and correlates the punch movement on the screen. So for Mike Tyson Punch Out, you would press the buttons and punch that way, like, you know. I can't be honest. I've got to be honest. I don't get it. It's pretty wacky, isn't it? It's one of the wacky things. Something very wacky for the Nintendo NES, and I love getting this stuff into stock. So even though it's wacky, it's a lovely condition inside. It is like very nice. You can see all the controls there. You've got the fire buttons there. I mean, that's the select and start buttons. Everything else you have to do by squishing your hands around. 1989, got a little copyright logo and stuff on the back. What a strange thing. What's next, Jace? Okay, so this week we also sorted out our haul of Sega Game Gears. Now, you're thinking, what the heck's that brown box? I don't remember Sega making anything in that. No, that's right, but let me open it and show you. Oh, what is it? Yes, it's a box. It's a box of Game Gears. Yes. Eight Game Gears. 8 Game Gears, one price. We've done this as a job lot. We have so many Game Gears. Let's go 101. Corrupt screen. Nice condition, that one. Corrupt screen, powers off. No battery covers on that one. This one, powers off. Could have just been dodgy batteries, but no. Game Gear is the most unreliable console in the world, if you didn't know. Corrupt screen. One battery cover, one not, but it has got the flip stand, this one. Very rare flip stand. That's it, very nice. This one, no post-it. I don't know if that's been tested, but anyway, it's in the pile because it hasn't got battery covers. That's number 5. Number 6, corrupt screen, powers off. Very similar problems on these, aren't there? This one has got battery covers. Yeah, that's number 6. Number 7, powers off. Again, no battery covers, but it's there. It's a Game Gear. The last one, number 8. Guess what? Powers off, and again, no battery covers. But it's got the strap, and we do like the strap. Let's get these in a nice position on the table so we can just have one sign-off shot. Let's have a look. 8 GameCubes. How much? 100 quid. What do you reckon? 100 quid for 8 GameCubes. That's a repairer's dream. It just, you know, the days were. Give 5 years ago, I would have said, oh yeah, well, one out of every 5 Game Gears works, and all the others don't work. Now it's about, well, 1 out of every 50 Game Gears. They've just reached that expiry date. They need to be recapped. The capacitors have splurged their business all over the circuit boards, and they do not work. But it's a relatively simple fix, and a lot of people replacing the screens. It is original hardware. It's a hobby for someone. If someone wants to invest, I've got a feeling that will sell. Let's see next week. Did the box of Game Gears sell? I think it might. I think it might. I think a lot of you guys, I talked to a lot of you guys through email, and a lot of you guys like fixing stuff and getting it all going again, and I think that's going to go quite well. More Game Gears. This one is rare. This is rare. It's in a lovely, this is a Logic 3 carry case. Not a great fan of carry cases, but this one's particularly squishy. I feel you could drop this off a tower block and the game would be okay. Let's do a nice reveal on the camera. Boo! Yes! What? Yes! This is white, but it's not Japanese. What? Yes, this is an original white Sega Game Gear. It is model 2110/50. This is a European. This is not American or Japanese. This is a European white Game Gear. I know that a lot of people remade the casings. You can get new casings for the Game Gear, but this is a proper original, beautiful original Game Gear. It's kind of got a chalky feel to it. So it's a nice texture, very nice. It's got the strap and it's got the carry case. Unfortunately, it does not work. Very, very rare model, but it does not power up, sadly. Just a blank screen on this one. Sometimes that's one of the issues. It won't read the cartridge, it will just give you a blank illuminated screen with nothing on it, and that unfortunately is the story for this one. One more Game Gear to show you before we move on, and that is this one. This is a boxed Game Gear. Yes, a box. Look at this. This is a beautiful boxed American original core system. Didn't come with any games, this version, but the box is immaculate, as you can see. Beautiful example. And let's just pop this open, slide it out. It's not rude. Got the card in there, and I pull that. Oh, it's got an extra game. It's got Sonic. The game didn't come with Sonic, but we put Sonic in there. And here we have the Game Gear itself. We've got the manual and its little poppy paper. Let's have a little butcher's, and there it's quite a nice clean one. And wait until I tell you this. Wait until I tell you this. You see, it's the American's got slightly different text in that bit there. Oh, are you ready? Are you ready? It works! Yeah, it works! Yes! It works. It has not been modified. It has not been repaired. It has not had the capacitors changed. It is an original, unplayed around with, working order. And I can't tell, if you know about Game Gears, you'll know how rare that is. This is not a broken one. This actually works. I enjoy playing Sonic. I played it myself in a state of utter disbelief. It's working! Yes! It worked! And I'm not just saying worked, oh yeah, but the sound, no. The sound worked. The screen worked. The buttons worked. Everything worked. It's a lovely one. I don't think it's been out of the box for many, many years. And for some reason, it has not destroyed itself like every other Game Gear. It is in proper, original, working condition. Lovely. Had enough of Game Gears? Yeah, I think so. Moving on, Jace. Okay, what is in the box? Okay, now first I've got some big things in the box. The first things I'm going to get out are a Super Famicom. Super Famicom, that's the Japanese SNES. And it's the classic Lethal Enforcers. You check it out.
You can't do it.
Lethal Enforcers. Well, get it out of its protective box. Beautiful condition though. It keeps it nice, doesn't it? Because you've got the lovely. I'm showing you on that camera. Show you on this camera. Yeah, really nice, glossy, not faded. Japanese Lethal Enforcers for the Super Famicom Japanese SNES. Proper Konami classic. And let's pull it out. Oh, yes, we've got the lid. Got the card lid and the tray. Let's open that. And there we have everything. Yeah, let's turn it around. Got your blue gun. I'm going to get you, mothers! Brilliant. You've got the manual in its original plastic bag. Is it beautiful? Of course it is. Absolutely immaculate manual. And you've got the cartridge. Well, and that's the really important bit. Anyway, classic game. Came out in lots of formats. Famous for coming out Mega CD, Mega Drive. Also came out for SNES and Super Famicom. But what about this? This is its friend, and this is so lovely to see. This is the partner controller for Lethal Enforcers. You're right, it's the pink gun. And if you're into Lethal Enforcers, you need to have both guns. Let's just get this. I'll show you again the box. You can see there's that lovely condition. It's been in its protector for many years. Slide this out. Oh yes, this one looks even more pristine. And there you have it. It's more salmony pink. I've got to do the double shot. Put your hands up, mofos! Whoa! Azoli! Guns, I love them. What's next in the box? It's this. And you're thinking, what the heck's that? This is Bariki 1. Bariki 1, this is a game for the SNK Hyper 64 arcade machine. Yes. It's the sequel to the Neo Geo AES and MVS machines, like the classic king of all games consoles. But this is, I'll just get it on the screen, this is a cartridge for a coin-op. Because SNK did not make a home version of the Neo Geo 64, which is a shame. But a lot of people tried to make versions of it. I found a couple of pictures. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how good these games are. I imagine I mean, I think I might have seen them under emulation. But yeah, it was the 64-bit version of the Neo Geo, and there's lots of games, and I mean, these weigh a ton. What sort of cartridge is? It's metal. It's solid metal. Probably cost about, I don't know, £800–900 when it came out. You know what Neo Geo stuff's like. They did come in card square boxes. This one is just loose. This is a loose cartridge. It's just my loose cartridge. Bit different to your Atari card, isn't it? I mean, I've always taken the mickey out the size of an AES MVS cartridge, but compared to this thing, this probably weighs 3 kilos easy for a game cartridge. It's metal. Hear it. Listen to that. Hello, you in there? Yeah, mega. A tin cartridge. Yeah, Bariki 1. It's a shoot. It's a fighting game. Check it out.
Out of the ring. Fight!
Okay, I mean, obviously, it's a fighting game. We've moved on a little bit since the Hyper 64, but, you know, if you're a Neo Geo fan, you love fighting games like that, so something else for your collection, if you've got the machine to play it on. Enough. Move on, Jace. What's next? Well, you guys always asking me, when are we going to cover some Amstrad? Oh, got the Amstrad. Yes, Amstrad. We only got a few. What about this one? This is a P47 Thunderbolt. Now, P47 always sounds like a battery to me. Oh, have you got any P47s for my watch? P47. But no, it is a shooter. Let's check out P47 on the Amstrad CPC. By Jalico. It's kind of R-Type inspired. You can kind of see that side-scrolling shooter, but you know, everyone likes that kind of feel of real planes taking down the train and all stuff. People say, "Oh, just get it out of the box." Just look. It's a lovely issue on the Firebird label. Got the cassette there in a beautiful shade of nicotine, but that is not nicotine. That's just the colour of the tape. And it's those kind of, I love these kind of manuals that fold out into, well, okay, very strange, folds out into this very long, a long poster of the P47 Thunderbolt plane. Very nice, thanks for that, Firebird. But yeah, nice version of an Amstrad classic. What's next in the box? More Amstrad. What about Fireman Sam? Yes, Fireman Sam. Brilliant show for kids who wanted to be firemen. gets confusing, it's a can of worms, but I think Fireman is too homophobic now. No, not homophobic, you know, sexist, just sexist. What are you on about, Jace? You've slipped into another cul-de-sac, stop it. It's Fireman Sam, it's a rare budget game on the alternative label. I just thought I'd show you, it's in beautiful, absolutely beautiful, pristine, immaculate condition. There it is. I don't think it's ever been played. I would say never been played. It's quite rare on the Spectrum Commodore 2. It's even rarer on the Amstrad. And finally, last Amstrad game, Postman Pat, not 1. Postman Pat, not 2. Postman Pat 3! Yeah, Postman Pat 3. What a classic, super rare alternative game. Very rare on all formats, Postman Pat 3. It's the sequel nobody knew they ever wanted. I mean, Postman Pat, he gets in a world of trouble, doesn't he? With his black and white cat, Jess. See, I know my stuff. Thank you, Postman Pat 3. On the Amstrad, moving on. What about this? Now, this is for the Sega Dreamcast. Do you remember that? It's just an unusual VMU came in this week. It's called the Giant Gram version. I'll put it on. It's just branded. It's in a beautiful shade of red. It's in pristine condition. I just thought, oh, it's got some Japanese writing there. A Giant Gram. Licensed game. It's a game that we didn't get, Giant Gram, I think, Dreamcast. But yeah, very nice, very rare. You know, VMUs, there's so many variations and they are collectible in their own right. Even if you don't have a Dreamcast, you could start your collection of VMUs. Visual Memory Unit, you know that. One format left in the box, and what format could that be? What do I like to finish on? I like to finish on Spectrum! Yes! Spectrum! I've only picked 3. We listed a bit of Spectrum stuff, I've only picked 3. But what are 3 they are? And the first one is Nemesis! Yes, now Nemesis, obviously the Spectrum version of Gradius. In the UK, Europe, Gradius was called Nemesis. But look how beautiful this box is. It's like an MSX game. It looks like an MSX game. It's got exactly the same kind of style and graphics. And the screenshots are from the actual Spectrum version. They didn't try and con us by putting an arcade version on the back. But that box is immaculate. I love this box design that Konami made. They didn't stick to it. The Jackal box is ridiculously different. But they didn't make many games in their own right, did they? They mainly licensed to Imagine and Ocean. But there you go, it comes in a cassette and a beautiful, that's Konami branded. You see the Konami on the bubble of the plastic. Pristine manual. I think just what a gorgeous game. Not as rare as it should be. I think in this condition, it's just that's a real sought after thing, isn't it? That looks fabulous. And look at it, look at the spine. People ask me, oh, what spines are there? I love a row of games that all have these spines. Amazing. Anyway, Nemesis. What's next in the box? Well, what about this? Is a rare one. No, not by Rare. It's by Gremlin, but it's a dynamic game. You know Dynamic, they made Game Over, Army Moves, usually licensed on the Ocean label. But this dynamic, Gremlin got in first with this one. Abu Simbel. Profanation. Yeah, it's a great title for a game. Abu Simbel Profanation. Yes, Camelot Warriors, the Garden Pea is back, but this time you're controlling the Garden Pea. He's a little bit like Pie Man, a little bit, isn't he? He's like a pea mixed with Pie Man. It's quite a simple but very colourful platform game, platform arcade adventure. The games we all loved during the Spectrum era. And as you can see, it's a decent arcade platform action game. You can see it's again, immaculate example of this one. Beautiful clam case game, lovely spine. Let's open her up. Yeah, look at that, all in black, isn't that lovely? I guess the instructions are on the inside. Yes, they are. We can pull the inlay out, we can do that for you. But again, look at the inlay, isn't it? Gorgeous condition. It's got the very simple instructions. A very rare game now for Spectrum. And it's those kind of, I always find it fascinating, it's mainstream labels like Gremlin and the obscure games you find on them. That is kind of a high point of collecting for me. it's well-known labels, like, you know, rare things on, like Tank by Ocean, you know, that game. Tank, but it's like it's on the Ocean, it's in the main gamut of Ocean releases, but wow, is it rare compared to everything else. And there's something very exciting about that when you've managed to track them down. We've recently, we had an A-Team game on the site. Oh my god, that A-Team game, why didn't I put that a lot more expensive? I'll never see that again. Anyway, digressing. Last game today, and what an epic game this is. Nodes of Yesod! Before I go on about it, let's see it running. Here we are then, Nodes of Yesod. And yes, I found another Garden Pea. Can you believe it? There's Garden Peas in so many Spectrum games that we didn't know. We're going to have a new game, Search for the Pea. And there you look at the animation. It's the animation. It's that jump move and that fantastic roly-poly landing. It's just a brilliant jump that he has. The way he rolls onto platforms. It just felt so stunning at the time. Yeah, oh, there's Rupert the Bear's in it. And you're this little mole guy, and he goes and he gets all the baddies. Well, but you're vulnerable. When he's out and about killing the bad guys, you're vulnerable. But then he can eat through the walls and give you new ways to go. I mean, what a fantastic gaming dynamic. I love it. Yes, the Crash Smash, that is Nodes of Yesod, and I have a lot of memories about this game. It's weird, doesn't say Nodes of Yesod on the spine. It's annoying. It's annoying when games didn't show that on the spine. Yeah, you got that with the early Imagine games, they were like that. But Nodes of Yesod, this game came out in a rush. Now, Odin Computer Graphics, they're related to the video game company Thor. They re-brought that label back for other games in a similar vein to Nodes of Yesod. I think Ark of Yesod is on the Thor label. So just to make it confusing, Odin and Thor, they're the same company. They released lots of very average games early on in the Spectrum and Commodore 64's life. Giant's Revenge, Jack and the Beanstalk, and Gremlins, a dodgy version of Gremlin, loads of weird stuff. But then they suddenly, from nowhere, released Nodes of Yesod. Now, it's not just about the box shape that makes people think this was an Ultimate game. This game came out with no previews, no reviews. It came out in a rush. Bang! Suddenly it's in the shops. It whispers around the school, hang on, there's a game in the shop. Have you played Nodes of Yesod? Played it? Nobody has heard of it. It's not been pre-advertised. It's not been pre-reviewed. We knew nothing of the game. And the weird thing was, everyone said, it's a new Ultimate game. It is a new Ultimate game. And Ultimate, their reputation preceded them. We'd forgiven them for Nightshade. We still thought there was a new Ultimate game that nobody knew about and been released instantly in some strange way without any promotion at all. So we all rushed out and we all played it, and we thought, well, even though it says Odin, it looks like an Ultimate game. It's got the same box. It must be an Ultimate game. They've just released it on another label to be a bit suspicious. Because when you look at the graphics, you think, well, this looks like it could be an Ultimate game. It's such good quality animation. But of course, it wasn't an Ultimate game. It was just a little bit of like a cash-in on that kind of feeling of Ultimate games, that mysterious spaceman. Just what Nodes of Yesod, it's that weird title like Underworld Night Law. It doesn't really make much sense, does it? Brilliant story, and just one of those games that it will always be embedded in the excitement of seeing it run the first time and thinking, is that an Ultimate game? Is it Ultimate? Is it? And then it got reviewed a month later, got its Crash Smash, and put Odin and Thor on the map. Well, we've got Ark of Yesod, Robin of the Wood, a few big games, iCups came from Thor after this. I don't know, I'm sure it's been in an issue of Retrogamer. What happened to the Odin Thor teams later on? Did they go to 16-bit? I don't know. There's no Nodes of Yesod on 16-bit formats, but it still remains a very special game in my heart. And I thought, well, that's a perfect game to end another show on. Thank you for watching and for putting up with me for another week. Until next week, happy retro gaming, retro gamers!
Retrogames says thank you for watching. Retrogames says thank you for watching.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm off to play some Nodes of Yesod now.